How's it going, everyone? It is Drago. We're back with another chapter of Fairy Tail 100-Year Quest and the first chapter of 2022, chapter 99, Scarlet Rage. The cover page for this chapter has Elfman and Kana on it, and they're doing like a champagne toast for the new year. Quite love Kana's expression, like, where do I learn this power? How do I open a bottle with such ease? Just her expression of Elfman opening the bottle like so easily is just like she's in such wonder. But my goodness, Elfman, he took the bottle opening a little bit too seriously there, because that expression that he's making, he is in pure concentration mode. We pick up the chapter with Lucy, Happy, and Natsu all running away from a boulder while they're still plushies, but midway while they're running, they turn back into their regular forms and they all just start tripping over each other, which eventually has Natsu and Lucy roll into a pit together, and they're just all smushed, and Happy's just like, oh great, here we go again. Very reminiscent of how the two got like stuck in a bell together in the Grand Magic games. And you get Silene just watching them like, oh yeah, I guess they are back in the game, so it's 7 against 4. And while she's watching them, the labyrinth itself is starting to change, which as it's changing, you get Gajiel and Carla arguing, and he's just like stealing bits of the temple, and Carla's just blaming him like, yeah, you took that little piece of rock, you clearly caused this, Gajiel, how freaking dare you. Midway through their argument, the labyrinth changes enough to cause Carlo to like fall in a crack, and kind of love Gajiel for jumping to go save her. So he wants to act like this tough boy, but he at the end of the day will still go save his guildmates. So good on you, Gajiel. And just when I thought we were going to get the end of the Loxus versus Kieran fight, those two get separated as well, and they're like, what the heck's going on? But as they're getting separated, I like that they're like, you just barely escaped lightning, brother. And Lox is just like, dang it, man, I want to freaking stuff you in that coffin. I'll see you later, coffin brother. It's like, aw, these two became friends. Nice. But I really wanted to see the end of this fight, so I'm actually kind of sad it's getting separated right now. Which, if you thought we weren't skipping around enough, we go over to Erza and Gray. They realize the labyrinth is changing around them as well. Erza's bummed out about it because she's like, dang it, I was taking notes. And Gray's like, wait, what? When were you doing that? She shows him the notes. It's like really crappily drawn. He's like, we would not have been able to use that. I love that she did the notes thing. It brings me back to the Labyrinth back in the Grand Magic games, so conveniently same setting, but they fall in a very big gap, ending with Gray falling on top of Erza and her just looking unenthused. But I guess it's good that they're laying down, because they set off a trap in the meantime, and it sends like a laser above them, and they both are able to dodge it because they're laying down. I like how Erza just looks super calm that this trap like almost just killed him, and Gray's like, oh crap, I could have just had my head blown off. If you were wondering, what is Juvia thinking about Gray laying on top of Erza? And Juvia's love radar sense is going off. But she's telling this all to Levy. Juvia's immediately blaming it on Gajiel, and like Levy's like, what? No, they're not doing anything. Juvia, stop being crazy. She's just convinced that freaking Gajiel's flirting with Gray. It's like, I mean, she is kind of being a prophet here, because we cut back to Erza and Gray. They're talking, and they see Gajiel falling from the ceiling, and Gajiel proceeds to land straight on Gray and headbutt him, which I can't imagine that feels very good, especially if Gajiel's skin is like iron and stuff. So that's like literally just like a sack of iron just smashed him in the face. And we cut again over to Wendy and Lily, and they're freaking out that the place is collapsing as well. But Wendy, being a good little soul that she is, decides to save Haku from the collapsing thing and has Lily pick him up when they're making their escape. I like Lily's like, oh, you want to save him because you want to go out with him, don't you? And she's like, no, that is not it at all. Stop it. We're getting a lot of reminiscent moments in this chapter, I just realized, because we go back to Lucy, Natsu, and Happy, and, they're starting to get crushed by the tunnel that they're in, but it opens up and has Lucy and Natsu fall out of it, but they get kind of separated again, but the way that they're kind of falling and looking at each other and stuff kind of reminded me of like Tartaros when that Allegria and stuff was happening, and they were kind of like falling at the same time. Which Lucy falls and she's just laying on the floor, and we get our first matchup of this newly changed Labyrinth, and it is Lucy gonna be going up against Kira. So with that first matchup set up, we go back to Erza, Gray, Gajiel, and Carla, and they're just bickering about Gajiel falling on Gray. They're just kind of wondering where everyone is, and meanwhile, while they're arguing, they notice someone's magic power, and that someone being Misaki, the Azure Dragon from Diablos. And she's just wondering where Kira is, she just wants to know where her fellow guildmate is, and she's just passing by. Which kind of like that we get a little bit of a fourth wall thing here, because they're all like, oh, her magic power, she's so strong, and she just says, yes, I'm well aware of that. And no hesitation whatsoever, immediately just starts showing off her magic and angling it at Erza, and it completely shatters her armor in one shot. And she's just like, what? And Gray and Gajiel are just being kind of creepy in the back, looking at her. I wonder if this is her whole quirk here, because she shattered all of her armor in one shot, and she's like, oh, I intended to tear through her whole body. But it's like, you just only eliminated the clothes. I wonder if her magic is somewhat similar to Damaria's from the Spriggan 12, because she kind of did the same thing to Kagura, to where it didn't really look like she did much of anything at all, but then she like completely destroyed people's clothing and like weapons and stuff in an instant. So I wonder if it's somewhat similar to that. And this is where I was saying about the quirk of this magic, because she's like, okay, let's try again, and you see Erza's hair start to rise up, which you get a really good scale of how long Erza's hair is right there. And she cuts Erza's hair pretty much mostly off, and she said she intended to cut it from the roots, but she cut it kind of, shorter. So that's why I'm saying, is this her whole quirk of saying she intended to do it at a certain point, but she doesn't fully do it? Erza, with her newly done haircut, be looking a lot like Erza Nightwalker now. You must have really pissed her off, and how she wanted to probably keep her hair that way, because she has a flashback to Jalal saying it was the color of your hair. Yeah, Erza does not look very happy with Misaki here. If you get that look on Erza, and actually little bits of like flame coming behind her, you're probably dead. We cut over to Natsu, and he's completely by himself, wondering where everyone is, and he starts to smell and hear someone, and he turns around and he's like, oh, I've been wanting to see you for a while now. And it turns out he's going to be going up against Suzaku, and he's all fired up for it. And that is the end of our chapter. So my thoughts. Quite sad we didn't get the end to Loxus versus Kirin, but let's hope that in the future we do get the end of it, and maybe they'll become, bros in the end. You never know. I've been seeing a lot of people saying for Lucy versus Kira, yes, she has that slash it magic, and she has some eye magic with what she displayed on Erza, but Lucy could actually get an opportunity here to completely show off Capricorn, because the Capricorn glasses basically make her immune to eye magic, so she could be using Capricorn quite a bit, and we actually haven't gotten any abilities of her using Capricorn besides the eyeglasses, so it'd be kind of cool to see what that Stardress form could fully do. Or maybe she'll do a Stardress mix to fight her, and she previously has gone up against her in the past. I'm wondering if Erza's haircut will stay the short haircut like after this arc, or if it's going to be like Wendy during Tartaros, to where they just immediately undo it like 10 chapters later. I kind of feel like they're not going to have Erza stay at the short hair, because if anytime I see Erza with a short hair, I immediately think Erza Nightwalker. So I think they probably might reverse the hair thing, just because they probably don't want you to mix the characters. To be honest, I never thought we'd get Erza with another hairstyle, and I don't know how I feel about it. But it doesn't help that the hairstyle is pretty much exactly similar to Erza Nightwalker. Also, the scene with her hair getting kind of cut kind of reminded me of like Sakura from freaking Naruto, and how she cut her hair, but that was by her own hand, and Erza got it like intentionally done to her. I think that fight, yes, it's Erza, and she's probably going to destroy Misaka, and that magic's very interesting, I'll say. But she also has the backup of Gray and Gajeel and Carla, so that could be a very interesting tag team to go all against her. So now Loxus, Wendy, Lily, and Kieran will have to find some new people to go up against. Natsu versus Suzaku, I think this is his first solo fight in a very long time. That will probably be a very big fight going up here. So what do you guys think of the chapter? Leave your comments down below. I'm currently working on making the Erza Scarlet character video, so that should be coming soon here. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and this is Drago signing out.